Alright guys, so this is going to be the PushPin component, which is kind of strange, but I think it's pretty cool. Basically we have a couple different navs here. We have 3 different navs, and by default in Materialize, just by having the nav tag here, gives you this pinkish background with the padding and all that. Okay, so what we want to do is for the div that's wrapping around all of these, actually it's wrapping around each nav. Each nav has a div. We're going to give this an ID, so this is going to have an ID of blue, and then we're going to give it a class of block. Okay, when we use PushPin, you want to use block, and then I'm also going to make I'm going to make it blue. All right, so for the nav tag here, we actually want to give this a class of PushPin dash demo dash nav. Okay, and we're going to give it a data target of blue. So this data target should actually match the ID. Now inside here, this div, we want to give this a class of nav wrapper, just like any other nav bar. And we're also going to I'm going to give it a color of light blue. And then I'm going to put a container inside the nav bar. You don't have to, but I like to, just so things aren't pushed up against the side. And then this is going to be the logo, so we want to give this a class of brand dash logo. And then we don't actually have to do anything for the links. Let's go ahead and save that. Okay, so we're actually going to have to add a little bit of custom CSS in order for this to work, and this is even in the documentation. So I have some style tags here. We're going to go inside here, and we're going to say for the HTML, the body, and the block class, we want to set the height to 100%. Okay, so you can see it gives it a height of 100%, and then let's see. You know what? Let's move on to the other ones. Now, instead of let's see. Actually, one thing that I forgot here is the UL. The UL should actually have an ID of nav-mobile and then a class. Let's do class right. Okay, so that moves it to the right. And let's hide it on medium screens and down. So we'll say hide dash on MED and down. Okay, so that way if the screen is too small, they're not going to show. If we make this bigger, the links should show. All right, so now what I want to do is just copy this whole div right here and then replace this div like that, and then we're going to change a couple things. We're going to change the ID to red. We're going to change this to red. I'm also going to do a lighten -1, and then we want to change the actual color of the nav, or I'm sorry, not the color, but the data target to red, which should match that ID. We're going to change this div right here with the nav wrapper. We'll change that class to red, and let's just change these right here. So we'll say red for those, and then what we'll do is for the green, again, we'll just replace this whole div right here, and we'll change the ID to green. We'll change this to green, the data target, and this. Blue. I'm going to change all these to green. And let's save. So now if I scroll down, you'll see that these are all different colors. All right, now Oh, they still say blue though. Let's change that. Or at least the middle one does. That should be red. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and just let's see. We're gonna add a little bit of JavaScript to give it the effect that we want, the pushpin effect. So I think we have a class called target, but it's not a class that we actually added. You know what? Let's take a look at the element. If I can make this smaller. Alright, so we have div with the ID of blue, container, alright. You know what I'm going to do is take a look at the documentation. And let's go to JavaScript and pushpin. So the effect we're trying to get is this. Okay, so I'm scrolling my mouse wheel down and it's moving each one up. So that's the effect we're trying to get. So if we look at the code here, it actually doesn't give us, which is really weird, it doesn't give us the markup that we just put in. It just kind of gives us the CSS, the jQuery plugin initialization. So let's grab this here. Actually, not the document ready. We already have that. Let's grab this right here, this target.pushpin. All right, and then we're going to put this in our JavaScript. Okay, and then we're going to take this right here, and we're also going to put that in. And then let's see. Okay, so that works. Good. Now there's also some CSS. So let's grab this right here. So class for when element is above threshold. We're just going to throw this in the style. So we'll paste that in. These are not CSS comment formatted, so we're going to get rid of these. Yeah, so it should look like that. And let's save. And there we go. Nope, that's not right. I think that CSS messed us up. Let's actually get rid of that. Yeah, so now the green replaces the red. Red replaces the blue. Good. And we're using the colors just to show you the difference and just to show you a clear separation of these things. I guess pages we would call them. I've never actually used the pushpin in a real project. This is really the only thing I've ever done with it, so I apologize that I don't have a better example for you or a better explanation, but this is available if you want to check it out and work with it. Alright, so that's going to be it. In the next video, we're going to look at the scroll spy component.